Get back, the floor won't hold. The scream dies in the smoke. Emergency lights pulse red against shattered glass. Deep inside the tower's guts, steel shrieks like something alive and dying. The sound makes your bones hurt. People stampede in every direction except the right one. Panic spreads faster than the smoke. But one man moves differently. Cade Rowan pushes against the crowd, still wearing the security badge they forced him to surrender 60 minutes ago. His work boots crunch over glass and concrete. His breathing stays even. Controlled. The kind of calm that only comes from years of knowing exactly how buildings die. In his left hand, a watch. Scratched steel. Too big for his wrist. The second hand ticks like a countdown. Then he sees her. Hi, welcome to Heart Voice Stories. Thanks for watching. Kindly tell me what country you're watching from. Pinned beneath a fallen support beam that wasn't supposed to give way for another decade. Blood streams from her temple, dark against platinum blonde hair. Her phone screen is destroyed. Useless. Her $1,000 blazer torn at the shoulder like cheap fabric. Alara Voss. The CEO who fired him this morning. She doesn't recognize him yet. Her eyes scan desperately for help, for authority, for someone who matters. Her voice comes out sharp despite the pain, the same tone she used when she ended his career. Help me. Please. I can't feel my legs. The building shudders. A warning. Dust falls like ash. Cade's phone vibrates once in his pocket. He doesn't need to look. He already knows who it is. Knows exactly what the message says. Dad, you said you'd be home before dark. His son. Lon. 8 years old. Waiting at their apartment. Counting steps. Trusting that Dad keeps promises. The watch ticks louder. Or maybe everything else just went silent. Cade stares at the woman who humiliated him in front of 30 witnesses. The woman who called him replaceable with a smile. The woman who had security escort him out like a criminal when he tried to warn her about this exact disaster. Run now, keep his promise to his son. Stay here, risk never seeing him again. The math is simple. The choice is impossible. Overhead, structural cables snap with sounds like gunshots. Concrete groans. The ceiling spider webs with cracks spreading faster than thought. Alara's eyes finally focus on his face. Recognition hits her like ice water. Wait, you're? Cade takes a step forward. The watch keeps ticking. Behind him, a support column fractures with a sound that stops time. The floor beneath them both begins to sink. Every morning began the same way, even the one that almost killed him. Sunlight through cheap blinds. The kind that never close all the way. Cade's alarm screams at 5:47 a.m. Not 5:45. Not 6 o'clock. Exactly 5:47. Because that's when Elon wakes up. Every single day. His internal clock doesn't negotiate. Routine isn't preference in their home. It's oxygen. Small apartment. 2 bedrooms. Shoes lined perfectly by the door, toes pointing the same direction. Elon's rule. Something about order making the world feel less like it's shouting at him. Cade never questioned it. Just lined up his work boots beside his son's sneakers every night like a prayer. 16 steps. Elon's voice comes soft from the hallway. He's 8 years old but sounds younger when he counts. His hands tap the walls twice as he walks. Left hand. Right hand. Rhythm before movement. 16 steps, Cade confirms, watching his son navigate from bedroom to kitchen like he's defusing a bomb. Some fathers teach their sons to throw footballs. Cade teaches his to survive a world that feels too bright, too loud, too sharp around every edge. Breakfast is precise. Eggs scrambled, never fried. Toast cut diagonal, never straight. The plate placed exactly where Elon's eyes expect it. 1 centimeter off and the whole morning collapses. The watch sits on the counter between them. Scratched steel catching morning light. It's too big for Cade's wrist. It belonged to someone who isn't here anymore. Someone whose name lives in silence now. Elon never asks about her. The watch does all the remembering. Cade works maintenance at Voss Tower. 43 floors of glass and steel and people who don't know his name. He's the guy who fixes things before they break. The invisible man. The one security nods at but never really sees. He's brilliant at it. Dangerously good. Because he notices things others miss. Stress fractures spreading through load-bearing walls. Maintenance reports filed then buried. Inspection schedules delayed again and again. Small cracks becoming fatal flaws. But he never made noise about it. Never pushed back hard. Because noise costs stability. And stability is everything when you're the only wall between your son and chaos. Before leaving, Cade kisses Elon's forehead. The boy doesn't look up from his cereal, but his small hand reaches out. Touches Cade's wrist where the watch sits. 16 steps back tonight, Elon whispers. 16 steps back, Cade promises. Always. The door clicks shut. The watch ticks steady on his wrist. 7 hours later, Steele starts screaming. The building doesn't just fail. It chooses the exact moment Cade warned them about. And now he's standing in the smoke, staring at the woman who called him replaceable, with one question burning through everything. Does he save her and risk never keeping his promise? Or does he run and live with that choice forever? The ceiling cracks wider. Time's up. You're being let go, effective immediately. Glass walls. Everywhere glass. Transparent cages where everyone can watch you bleed in high definition. Ilara Voss sits elevated behind a desk engineered to make you feel 6 inches tall. Everything about her is calculated. The posture. The tone. The way her eyes scan documents she's not actually reading because she memorized this speech 3 firings ago. Cade stands. They didn't offer him a chair. Security lingers near the door. Not touching him. Not yet. Just close enough to be a promise. Your concerns have been noted and reviewed, Ilara says, voice smooth as boardroom marble. However, structural assessments fall outside your purview. Your maintenance, Mr. Rowan. Not engineering. I've worked this building 7 years, Cade says quietly. I know when something's wrong. You knew your role. Past tense. Surgical cut. That role is now concluded. Outside the glass walls, people pretend not to watch. But they're watching. Everyone's always watching when someone falls. Cade tries once more. Not for himself. For the 100 people walking over fractures that shouldn't exist yet. The load-bearing column on sublevel 2 is compromised. The reports I filed. Her hand rises. Not aggressive. Just final. You created unnecessary liability with unsubstantiated claims. You bypassed proper protocol. You caused alarm among personnel. I followed protocol for 6 months. Then you accept that your concerns were adequately reviewed and found baseless. The fluorescent lights hum like insects. Someone's phone rings in another office. Life continues normally while his crumbles in real time. Ilara stands. Meeting over. Thank you for your service, Mr. Rowan. She extends no hand. Offers no eye contact. Just policy wrapped in politeness. We all play our part. Yours has simply concluded. Then the line that will haunt both of them. You're replaceable. We all are. Security steps closer. Cade walks out carrying a cardboard box. Inside, a backup uniform. A coffee mug Elon decorated with crayon drawings. The maintenance manual he rewrote himself because the official one was useless. Nothing that matters. Everything that matters. Outside the building he stops on the sidewalk. Checks his watch. 3:47 p.m. Elon gets home from school at 4:15. The second hand ticks steady. Reliable. Unlike everything else. Behind him, deep in Voss Tower's foundation, something metal groans. Low frequency. The kind of sound you feel in your teeth before your brain registers it. Cade turns back toward the building. Stares up at 43 floors of glass reflecting afternoon sun. No one else heard it. No one else ever does. Not until people start screaming. He stands there, unemployed, humiliated, holding a box of his own irrelevance. And realizes he's the only person in the city who knows exactly how much time is left. The watch ticks. The tower waits. And Cade makes a choice that will cost him everything. It wasn't a theory anymore. It was a countdown. Cade doesn't go home. He sits in his truck across from Voss Tower. Laptop balanced on the steering wheel. Files he saved before they wiped his access. Inspection reports with signatures that don't match the dates. Load calculations showing 17% degradation beyond safety limits. Structural schematics he photographed on his phone over 6 months because some part of him always knew this moment was coming. The math doesn't lie. Buildings do exactly what physics tells them to. He emails the city building inspector. Message bounces back. Mailbox full. He calls the emergency safety hotline. Automated voice. Office closed. Leave a message after the tone. He tries the compliance officer who signed off on the last inspection. Rings 4 times. Then, the number you have reached is no longer in service. Panic starts cold. Spreads fast. Cade drives back to the tower. Parks illegally. Doesn't care. Walks straight to the security desk where he stood 1,000 times before. Different face behind the glass now. I need to speak with facilities management. It's urgent. Do you have an appointment? I worked here until today. There's a structural. Sir, if you're no longer employed here, I can't grant you access. Then call someone. Please. the sub-level. The guard's hand moves to his radio. Not aggressive, just ready. Behind him, another man appears. Ren Calder, head of security. 6'3" of polite menace and practiced dismissal. Mr. Rowan. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. I'm afraid you're creating a disturbance. The building isn't safe. You need to evacuate. We have protocols for safety concerns. Yours were reviewed and dismissed by qualified engineers. He steps closer. Voice drops. If you continue, I'll have to file a restraining order. For everyone's peace of mind. The threat lands soft. Final. Cade tries one last channel. Calls the emergency line listed on every floor. A woman answers. Port. Efficient. Voss Tower Emergency Services. This is Cade Rowan. Former maintenance. I'm reporting a critical structural failure. Are you currently in danger? Not me. Everyone inside. Sir, creating false alarms is a criminal offense. We have your name and number. Don't call this line again. Click. The system has spoken. Every door closed. Every channel blocked. They know something's wrong. They just don't want panic. Don't want lawsuits. Don't want the cost of being right. Cade sits in his truck. Stares up at the tower. The watch ticks on his wrist. Louder now. Or maybe everything else just got quieter. His phone buzzes. Building-wide alert. He's still on the staff notification list. They haven't deleted him from that system yet. The message appears. Minor systems anomaly detected. Maintenance crews responding. Normal operations continue. Minor. Normal. Cade looks up at 43 floors of glass and steel and people who don't know they're standing on fractures. And understands with perfect, terrible clarity. It's already too late to stop what's coming. The only question left is who survives it. The lights went out before the scream. Power dies first. Every floor. Every circuit. 43 stories of darkness and half a heartbeat. Then the screaming starts. Elevators freeze between floors. Emergency brakes slam. People inside feel their stomachs drop as cables catch with sounds like whip cracks. Fire suppression systems misfire. Sprinklers vomit water onto electrical panels. Sparks cascade down stairwells like dying stars. Deep below, where no one's supposed to hear it, steel shrieks. Not bending. Breaking. The sound travels through concrete, through foundation, through the earth itself. Cade feels it through the sidewalk. A vibration that climbs up through his boots into his spine. He's 3 blocks away. Heading home. Heading to Elon. The tower groans again. Louder. Windows on the lower floors spiderweb. Pop outward. Glass rains onto the street like diamonds made of violence. People pour out of the lobby. Running. Screaming. Trampling. Cade turns back. Doesn't think. Doesn't hesitate. Just runs. Against the crowd. Against survival instinct. Against every promise he made to come home. The watch ticks on his wrist like thunder. Security tries to stop the flood of bodies. Fails. Ren Calder shouts orders no one follows. Panic has no chain of command. Cade pushes through. Knows exactly where the structural failure started. Sublevel 2. Near the executive conference wing. Smoke crawls up stairwells. Alarms scream in 3 different pitches. Emergency lighting flickers red, then dies, then flickers again. He reaches the fractured lower level. Concrete buckled like paper. Support beams twisted at angles that shouldn't exist. Water from broken pipes mixing with sparks from severed wires. Then he hears it. A voice. Controlled. Breaking. Trying so hard not to sound terrified. Help. Someone. Please. He knows that voice. Cade moves toward it. Around a collapsed section of ceiling. Over debris that cuts through his jeans. And there she is. Elara Voss. Pinned beneath the support beam he warned her about 6 months ago. Blood runs from a gash on her temple. Her leg twisted at an angle that makes his stomach turn. Her phone crushed 3 feet away. She's not a CO anymore. Just a woman bleeding in the dark. Her eyes scan desperately. Looking for power. For authority. For someone who matters. Then they land on Cade. Recognition comes slow. Through pain. Through shock. Her mouth opens. Closes. Opens again. The building shudders. Something massive gives way on an upper floor. The sound of 100 tons shifting where they shouldn't. Time compresses. Cade's phone buzzes in his pocket. He doesn't look at it. Doesn't need to. On. Waiting. Counting steps. Trusting. Elara's voice comes out barely above a whisper. Not commanding. Not efficient. Just human. Just afraid. Please? I can't. I don't want to. She can't finish the sentence. The watch ticks between them. 30 seconds until the next structural failure. Maybe less. Cade looks at the woman who called him replaceable. And she looks at him like he's the only thing in the universe that matters. She whispers his name. Cade. Not Mr. Rowan. Not maintenance. Just his name. Like a prayer from someone who doesn't know how to pray. You don't deserve this, she said, and he answered, I know. Cade moves without panic. Assesses the beam pinning her. Calculates weight distribution. Checks structural integrity with hands that know concrete and steel like some people know prayer. The building groans around them. A living thing dying slow. He pulls off his jacket. Rolls it. Slides it under her head without asking permission. How bad? Alara's voice cracks. Bad. My leg. Don't look at it. She looks anyway. Turns pale. Swallows whatever sound wanted to escape. Cade examines the support beam. Runs his fingers along stress fractures. Listens to microshifts in the metal. The way a doctor listens to a failing heart. His watch ticks steady on his wrist. He's timing stress cycles. Counting intervals between groans. The building speaks if you know how to listen. 30 seconds between tremors. Getting shorter. Why did you come back? Alara whispers. Cade doesn't answer. Checks the ceiling above them. Counts cracks. You tried to warn me. Her voice breaks completely now. The reports. All of them. I read them. He looks at her. Says nothing. I ignored them. Not because I didn't believe you. Because fixing them would have delayed the investor meeting. Would have cost us the quarterly projections. Would have looked bad. Silence. I chose optics over truth. Tears now. Not dignified. Just human. I chose money over lives. Over yours. Over everyone still trapped up there. Cade's voice is quiet. Not cruel. Just factual. She flinches like he hit her. I remember your face, she continues, needing to say it. That morning. When security walked you out. You didn't yell. Didn't make a scene. You just looked at me. Like you knew. Like you knew this would happen and I knew. Simple. True. The building shudders. Worse this time. Dust rains from the ceiling. The beam across her leg shifts. She screams. Cade's hand presses her shoulder. Firm. Grounding. Breathe. Count with me. 4 counts in. Hold 4. 4 counts out. She tries. Fails. Tries again. He breathes with her until the panic fades to manageable terror. His phone buzzes. He finally looks. Dad? Are you okay? On. His hands shake as he reads it. Alara sees his face change. You have a son. Yeah. He's waiting for you. Yeah. Then leave. Please. Just. Can't do that. Why not? I fired you. Humiliated you. I'm the reason. I know. She stares at him. This man she called replaceable. This man now calculating if he can save her without dying himself. You don't owe me anything, she says. I know that too. The watch ticks between them like a bomb. Cade examines the beam again. His jaw tightens. The math is brutal. He can move it, but not from the outside. The structure shifts again. Closer now. 20 seconds between tremors. Cade looks at Alara. She sees it in his eyes before he says it. The truth that's been building since he walked through smoke to find her. Only one of them is walking out of here. And he's already decided which one. If I move this beam, it won't fall on me. Cade says it simply. Calmly. The way you'd explain how to tie shoes. There's a pivot point. Here. He touches the beam. If I position myself under it and lift while you crawl out, the weight redistributes. You'll have maybe 10 seconds. Alara stares at him. Understanding floods her face like ice water. No. It's the only way. Then we both stay. That's not an option. The building groans. Louder. Closer. The 20-second intervals are shrinking to 15. Listen to me carefully. Cade's voice stays steady. Kind even. When I lift, you drag yourself forward. Don't use your legs. Pull with your arms. Don't stop. Don't look back. Understand? Cade, please? Do you understand? She nods. Crying now. Not from pain. If you let go, her voice breaks. I know. We both die. Just you. I calculated it. That's not better. It is to me. The watch ticks on his wrist. Loud as a gunshot in the silence between her sobs. Cade closes his eyes for just a moment. Sees Elon's face. Small hands counting steps. 16. Always 16. Touching the walls like they might disappear if he doesn't. Sees the breakfast table. Eggs scrambled. Toast cut diagonal. Sees the promise he made this morning. 16 steps back tonight. Always. He opens his eyes. I need you to do something for me, Cade says quietly. Anything. There's a boy. 8 years old. His name is Elon. The words come careful. Precise. He lives at 2847 Riverside. Apartment 3C. His routine matters. Don't change it. Don't break it. Understand? Ilara's face crumbles completely. Don't make me. Promise me. Cade. Promise. Me. I promise. She chokes on it. I promise. He nods once. Positions himself under the beam. His phone buzzes one last time. He doesn't look. Doesn't need to. Already knows what it says. Dad, when are you coming home? On 3, Cade says. Voice steady. Strong. 1. Please don't do this. 2. There has to be another way. 3. He lifts. Every muscle in his body screams. The beam shifts. Rises 6 inches. 8. 10. Geo, he roars. Ilara crawls. Arms shaking. Dragging herself through rubble and blood. 3 feet. 5. 8. The building shudders. Cade's grip slips. He repositions. Agony rips through his shoulders. Keep moving. She's almost clear. Almost. In the distance, sirens. Shouts. Rescue teams flooding the sublevel. Too late to stop what's happening. Too late to change his mind. Ilara clears the beam. Cade sees her safe. Smiles. Tell him. The structure gives way. The beam drops. Pain explodes white then red then nothing. Silence swallows everything. When the dust clears, Ilara is sobbing on her hands and knees. Alive. And Cade's watch lies in the rubble. Still ticking. Still keeping time for a boy who's counting steps. Waiting. Trusting. Believing Dad always comes home. They called him a hero. Too late. The news breaks like a flood. Fired worker saves CEO in building collapse. Hero maintenance man sacrifices himself. The warning everyone ignored. Cameras everywhere. Reporters shouting questions. Phones recording every angle of the rubble. Cade's face on every screen. His name trending worldwide. Hero. Brave. Selfless. Words that mean nothing when you're buried under steel. The rescue takes 4 hours. They pull him out barely breathing. Crushed ribs. Shattered collarbone. Internal bleeding. Spine compressed but not severed. Alive. Barely. Changed forever. Ilara testifies 3 days later. Hospital bed rolled into the federal inquiry hearing. Leg in a cast. Face pale. No makeup. No polish. Just truth. I ignored 17 separate maintenance reports. Her voice doesn't shake. Doesn't hide. I was warned repeatedly about structural failures. I chose quarterly earnings over human safety. I chose investor confidence over employee concerns. I silenced the one man who knew the building was dying. She names every decision. Every executive who signed off. Every meeting where they chose silence over action. Names herself loudest of all. Cade Rowan saved my life after I destroyed his. That's not heroism. That's grace I'll never deserve. The media tries to spin her as redeemed. She refuses. Redirects every interview back to Cade. To accountability. To system failure. Within a week, the board forces her resignation. Federal investigations open. Safety audits spread to every building in the city. Policies rewritten. Executives indicted. But none of it feels like justice. Because Cade lies in a hospital bed staring at the ceiling. Silent. Broken. Healing too slow. Physical therapy twice a day. Learning to walk again. Every step agony. The watch sits on his bedside table. They found it in the rubble. Crystal cracked. Still ticking. Still keeping time. Reporters camp outside his hospital room. He refuses every interview. Hero, feels like an insult when your son spent 4 nights thinking you were dead. When Elon finally visits, he doesn't speak. Just stands in the doorway. Small. Shaking. Counting under his breath. Cade reaches out his hand. Elon doesn't take it. Just stands there. Counting. Louder now. 16 steps. 16 steps. 16 steps. The routine that kept his world stable is shattered. Trust broken not by malice but by a choice Cade made without asking. I'm sorry, Cade whispers. Elon turns and walks away. The watch ticks in the silence. 3 weeks pass. Cade is discharged. Returns to the apartment that feels wrong now. Too quiet. Too empty of the trust that filled it. Elon speaks only in numbers. Won't make eye contact. Won't touch the walls. Everything broken. Everything except one thing. A knock at the door. Kate opens it. Elara Voss stands there. No driver. No assistant. No armor. Just a woman holding an envelope and looking like she hasn't slept in a month. I kept my promise, she says quietly. But that's not why I'm here. She looks past him. Sees Elon at the kitchen table. Counting. Alone. I need to tell him the truth, Elara whispers. About the man his father is. About what I cost both of you. Kate stares at her. That won't fix anything. I know. Her voice breaks. But maybe it's not about fixing. Maybe it's about finally being useful. He didn't want an apology. He wanted time. Elara sits at their kitchen table. Wrong chair. Elon notices. Counts under his breath. Louder. She moves to the other chair without being asked. The counting stops. Small victories in broken places. Elon, she begins. Stops. Her prepared speech dies in her throat. The boy doesn't look at her. Just stares at the placemat. Tracing patterns with one finger. Over and over. Kate stands by the counter. Arms crossed. Watching. Waiting for this to fail. I'm the reason your dad got hurt, Elara says quietly. Simply. I didn't listen when he tried to warn me. I fired him for telling the truth. And when the building fell, he saved me anyway. Elon's finger stops tracing. I brought something. She slides an envelope across the table. Compensation. For medical bills. For. No. Kate's voice cuts clean. She expected this. Nods. Then I'll leave you alone. Completely. Oh. No. She looks up. Confused. You don't get to walk away feeling better, Kate says. Not angry. Just honest. You don't get to write a check and disappear. Silence. Then what do you want? Her voice cracks. I want you to listen. Like you should have done before. She closes her eyes. Nods. The building codes that failed? Fix them. All of them. Across the city. No press releases. No naming rights. Just fix them. Done. The maintenance workers who get ignored like I was? Create channels they can actually use. Anonymous reporting. Protected whistleblowing. Real consequences. Done. And him. Kate gestures to Elon. Kids like him. Who need routines. Who need stability. Who need parents who come home. Fun programs. Real ones. No corporate branding. No photo ops. Elara pulls out her phone. Starts typing. Hands shaking. No foundations with my name, she says while writing. No galas. No buildings with plaques. Just action. She looks at Elon. I can't give your dad back those 3 weeks in the hospital. Can't give you back the nights you thought he was dead. But I can make sure other kids don't lose their parents to buildings that shouldn't fall. Elon finally looks at her. Doesn't speak. Just looks. She reaches into her bag. Pulls out a small box. This was in the rubble. The repair shop said it couldn't be fixed. The crystal was shattered. The mechanism damaged. She opens it. The watch. But they were wrong. She places it on the table. It ticks different now. Slightly off rhythm. Not broken. Just changed. Kate picks it up. Holds it to his ear. Tick, tick, tick. Not the same. Never the same again. But still keeping time. Still counting forward. He fastens it around his wrist. Elara stands. Doesn't wait for thanks. Doesn't ask for forgiveness. Just leaves her number. When the programs launch, I'll need input. From people who actually know what matters. She walks to the door. Stops. Your son counts 16 steps, she says without turning. I counted them too. I'll remember. The door closes softly behind her. Elon looks at his father. At the watch ticking different but steady. And whispers the first full sentence in 3 weeks. Will she keep her promise? Cade looks at his son. At the watch. At the future neither of them expected. I think, he says slowly, she's going to try. Time didn't save him. He decided how to use it. Morning light through cheap blinds. 6 months later. The alarm goes off at 5:47 a.m. Not because it has to. Because that's when Elon wakes up. Some things never change. Cade moves slower now. His back doesn't straighten all the way. Physical therapy 3 times a week. Pain that never fully leaves. The kind of scars that live deeper than skin. But he moves. Shoes by the door. Lined up carefully. Toes pointing the same direction. Elon appears in the hallway. Hands touch the walls. Left. Right. The rhythm that makes the world manageable. 16 steps, the boy whispers. 16 steps, Cade confirms. They've added something new to the morning routine. After counting, Elon stops. Looks at his father. Really looks. You're here. I'm here. Not a promise anymore. Just a fact. One they both had to relearn. Breakfast happens quietly. Eggs scrambled. Toast cut diagonal. The plate exactly where it should be. The watch sits on Cade's wrist. Tick steady. Not loud. Not urgent. Just present. The rhythm slightly off from what it used to be. The crystal repaired, but you can still see where it cracked if you know where to look. Change. Still working. Still counting forward. Cade's phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Safety audit complete on the Meridian Tower. Found 3 critical failures. All flagged for immediate repair. Anonymous tip line working. Thought you should know. No fanfare. No credit claimed. Just work being done. He doesn't reply. I don't need to. The programs Alara funded are running. Maintenance workers have voices now. Buildings get fixed before they break. Kids like Elon have support structures that bend instead of shattering. None of it erases what happened. But it means something happened after. Dad. Elon's voice pulls him back. Yeah, buddy? Can we go to the park today? After school? The question lands soft. Normal. The kind of normal they're rebuilding one morning at a time. Absolutely. Cade ties his son's shoes. Slower than he used to. His hands don't work quite right anymore. But they work enough. Before Elon leaves for school, he stops. Does something new. Reaches out. Touches his father's wrist where the watch sits. It sounds different, Elon says. Yeah. It does. But it still works. Yeah. It still works. The boy smiles. Small. Real. Then counts his way to the door and leaves. Cade stands at the window. Coffee in hand. Looks out over the city. In the distance, Voss Tower. Rebuilt. Reinforced. Smaller somehow even though the height hasn't changed. Like something about it learned humility. He thinks about power. About who has it and what they do with it. About buildings that fall and people who refuse to let them. The watch ticks on his wrist. Time didn't save him that day in the rubble. But it gave him a choice about what to do with what was left. He chose to use it reaching for someone who didn't deserve his help. And somehow, impossibly, that choice built something stronger than steel. Not redemption. Not revenge. Just people deciding to be different after the dust settles. The watch keeps ticking. Life keeps moving. And Cade Rowan, the man they called replaceable, stands in morning light understanding a truth that towers could never teach. Some people change the world by building it. Others by refusing to let it break again.